Good morning. You have just joined Breakfast with Idaho State Senator Cook. It's good to have you. And just wanted to talk a little bit about last week. Last week, JFAC met, and we weren't in session, but we met and took what we call the Fall Idaho Tour. And we try to go to some of the places where we're actually allocating money and to go and see actually how the money was spent. So first stop that we went to was the Idaho Adult Correctional Facilities. And it was very interesting. So we went into this brand new building that they had opened up. And I don't remember how many beds, 100 beds or something like that. It was a 2-level building. Couches and chairs and TVs and places where they could do their own cooking and do their own laundry, and it was pretty nice. And a lot of people might say, whoa, this is supposed to be a prison. We're supposed to be here. We're supposed to be disciplining these guys and making it rough. And T. Walt, who is the warden, he just doesn't fit the mold of a warden to me. This guy really cares about Idaho prisoners, about our Idaho people. And he says, we could stick them back into cement block buildings and push them in there. And then when they leave, they will have no idea how to act because they've been in prison, everybody making decisions for them for the last 10, 20, 30 years. He says, but this place that we have here, they come, they live, they go out and they work a real-time job. And at the end of the day, they come back. So they've had to earn the privilege to live in these nice prisons. They look like regular college dorms, and they are very nice. But we got to visit with some of these guys, and some of them were saying, yeah, I'm earning money, and I'm sending money back to my wife and back to my kids, helping them. I just bought a brand new pair of gym shoes for my son. They made the basketball team. It's just really interesting to talk to some of the prisoners and about their surroundings. And so our director, T. Walt, is really, really working hard to get these guys back into society, back working like they should be and not causing problems. And for the biggest part, it looks like it's working. He did say, he says, we need more of these places though. He says right now, I think he said, was there 1,000? Yeah, 1,000 Idaho inmates right now are sitting in not maximum, but secure places where they shouldn't have to be. He says, if I had no more beds like this, where it's transitioning, getting them ready to go into real life work experiences, says I could take them out of security and put them into here. And the thing that was interesting, he says now, it costs about $500 to $600 per square foot to build this facility. And again, it was a very nice facility, $500 to $600 per square foot. But he says to build one of the securities across the field where you have all of the other prisoners that are still causing problems, he says there it's costing between $1,100 and $1,200 per square foot. And that's concrete, steel, higher security fittings and everything else with the cameras and all that stuff. It says, so it's cheaper to put them into these nicer places, help them to learn how to make decisions on their own and be able to go out and earn some money and be able to put that money back into society, back and help their wife and kids wherever they're from. Just really, really sounded like it was a good idea. I think it was a well-spent money that the state of Idaho did. So it was great to visit with them. Our next stop is Micron. We went to Micron and saw where some of the money had spent there. And that was very, very interesting. They had a $5 billion expansion plan that they're doing right there in Boise, so it's huge. We also talked about the $100 billion mega fab expansion plan that they're doing in Syracuse, New York. And so that was interesting to talk with them. But we got to tour the whole building. Amazing, some of the technology that they got there. They've got robots that are, so AI, some of the robots that are helping to create these fabs. Just fun to watch to see what they're doing. They had a wall covered with all of the patents that they had received. So this is a huge technology company that's doing some great things for the nation. There was one of them, can't remember what it was though. Some of the memory that they were creating, is not being created in the United States. About 10 years ago, it was all overseas. And so they're trying to bring it back to bring it back in the United States, where we're starting to make that, which we need to. We cannot be dependent on other nations to create some of the infrastructure that we need. So that was interesting. But the real cool thing that they talked about was, says we've got all of this nice technology and we need it as a nation. Says we need to make sure our education is turning out good, solid people that are willing to go to work, that have the skills and the training and the knowledge to go to work. And then they talked about the launch program, which we passed last year, where it's giving kids $8,000 to come out of high school to go into different trades and colleges, universities, to learn some of these skills that they need. The interesting thing is, just previous to this week, I had spent a meeting with the Department of Energy that oversees the laboratory here in Idaho for the BEA, the INL, the cleanup project. One of the things they said there was that all of these billion-dollar projects that are on the docket to create new energy power, new nuclear energy power, says the one thing we need to do is we need people that are trained, that can hit the road, hit the job on the job working. And he says the launch program will do that for us. And if we don't, he says some of that technology is going to go elsewhere. It's going to go to another state. It's not going to happen. Nuclear energy is here, and it is going to happen. And if we're going to take a part of it is here in Idaho, then we need to make sure our universities have got the money to be able to teach it, to train them, and also that our high school kids are getting out. So this launch program is huge. Again, it is not a new program. It's been around for, I think, 4 years, and it's proved its worth of helping people that were already out of high school for 3 or 4 years. The launch program would take them, get them a training, get them in a certificate or an education. And afterwards, we were showing, I think it was a 13 grand increase in their income, which basically took them from a social taker to a community giver. They were becoming an active part of our society, paying taxes and helping out instead of sucking taxes into their lives. So the launch program is great. What it did, though, is we just expanded it to include high school graduates. And so kids are applying for that right now. We're excited to see what will happen with that. But that will definitely help some of these big industries and small. Okay, some of the very small things. One of the things that they've all said is, we've got infrastructure that needs to be built in order to take care of this huge technology, whether it's fabrication at Micron or the nuclear energy power. You got to have electricians, you got to have construction workers, you got to have people that can lay down asphalt and sidewalks and landscaping and all of that. So the launch is going to be huge. It's going to be really cool. The last stop we had was at the Idaho Transportation Department. So last year, was it last year or 2 years ago, their building just kind of opened up and just flooded. And we had water all over the place. And so they took all of their equipment, the data center, basically a bunch of it out to the Chinden campus and out there. During that time, they made the decision to sell this property, and I think it was like 45 acres. And it's prime property. It's even got some of the part of the property has a front edge of the Snake River. But they went ahead and sold that. It's under contract now for $51.7 million. And the legislative doesn't have to be involved with it. There's a law that says they can go and sell it as long as they allow the other agencies to look at it. And if somebody wants to get it, great, they can jump on and buy it. But they only gave them 2 weeks. If you were to read the newspaper articles, it sounds like we, the legislators, are like, oh, you didn't let us make that decision for you, we're upset. Well, the truth of it is, I could care less, but as I looked at it, it's like, this doesn't seem like a good deal. It's they sold prime property for $51 million, $51.7 million to replace not even replace the property. So we're not, the property they're moving to, we've already purchased, so we don't have that involved with the price. But we're moving the historical society. We got to build a new building for them. They're on that property that got sold, and so, in short, it comes out about $130 million. This thing is costing us. And I just think, was that well thought out? And maybe it was, but it didn't sound like it. It's $130 million, and we're selling some prime property. The history of Idaho, the state of Idaho selling property, we have always been sorry that we sold the property, that we could have used it for something else, whether it was a park or some other buildings or agencies that needed it. But anyway, we'll see what happens there. We're trying to look at it, but it sounds like that the ship's already sold, but just sound like maybe we could have done a better job and did that. But anyway, it might be my lack of understanding, but from what we heard at the tour is a lot of money that's going to cost us because we sold that property. Anyway, it was a great JFAC tour. We learned a lot. We started looking at budgets and what we're going to do coming up in January when our session starts. So, hey, I'd love to hear from you. If you have comments, suggestions, issues, text me, call me, email me, whatever works for you. I'd love to help out. Have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you later.